Hello student, in this video I will discuss about a very important topic, that is hardware and software selection in case of system design and analysis, which is a major element in building any system and selecting the compatible hardware and software. The kind of hardware and peripherals required is to be determined at the earliest before designing and analysis of the system information system. The suitable software has to be selected first. The experience analyzed will explore. So that is the work of system analyst to explore the possible and suitable software and hardware for building the information system. Hardware and software selection begins with requirement analysis, followed by request for proposal and vendor evaluations. So after the requirement analysis phase is done, then the analyst tries to provide some request some proposals, and also tries to go for the vendors and evaluate the vendors also. The final system selections initiates contract negotiations, price, maintenance, agreements, vendor selection, acceptance criteria, and similar issues. So here is an example. In the days in the recent years, a user calls IBM to order a 360 system, which in itself included hardware, software, and support. Today, selecting a system is a serious and time-consuming activity. Unfortunately, many systems are still selected based on vendor reputations only, or other subjective factors instead the factors which should be considered should be determining, like equipment sizes, capacity needs, financial considerations, acquisition method. Those are also important factor to be considered. So in earlier days, user try to call IBM, which is reputed enough, so to order 360 systems, which includes hardware and software and everything, every support they can provide. But nowadays, selecting a system is very serious and time conquering or time consuming activity. And many systems are selected based on vendor reputation nowadays, because there are lots of competitions going on to provide good systems or good softwares by different companies at once. And to analyze the hardware or to analyze the software before selection can be done using computer. So computer evaluation and measurement can be done on choosing the based and appropriate softwares and hardwares. Comparisons are often made among different computer systems on the basis of actual performance data. Using benchmark data generated by using synthetic programs is more effective than simply comparing technical specifications. So while you try to buy or purchase some softwares or hardwares from the market, you try to go through the technical specifications, but which might not be effective enough in case of building a software system or information system, where you need to create some synthetic data, or using some benchmark data. You need to create some benchmark data by using synthetic programs, depending upon which you will choose or decide what type of computer systems or what type of hardware system or what type of software system you will going to acquire from different vendors. So what is benchmarking in this case? Benchmark is the application of synthetic programs to emulate the actual process work handled by a computer system. Benchmark programs permit the submission of a mix of jobs that are representative of user projected workload. They also demonstrate data storage equipment techniques and provide the opportunity to test specific functions performed by the system. Through this technique, the limitations of the equipment become apparent early in the acquisition process. So before you are going to buy the actual system, by having this benchmark system or benchmark program, by emulating the actual software, you can understand the data storage equipment techniques and provide the opportunity to test the specific functions performed by the systems. So having that knowledge, it will be very important or it becomes more clear to you to buy what type of system. Through these technical limitations of the equipment become apparent early in the acquisition process. Sometimes users organizations will insist that results be attached to the sales contract, formally stating that a specific number of transactions can be processed in a given period of time. The response to an inquiry will be given within a stated amount of time, and so forth. So from a business point of angle also, you can decide by having the time constraints, or by having the money constraints. You can also go for that selection of hardware and software. That is also one type of benchmarking. Benchmarks can be run in virtually and type of system environment, including batch and online job streams with the users linked to the system directly or through telecommunications method. So using different types of method, like you can use or you can run your system virtually on a system environment, including batch or the online job streams, or you can link different users through your system, so that like through the internet or through the telecommunication method, so that you can understand the basic or benchmark procedure or benchmark performance of the system. Then that only you can decide what type of hardware and software can be purchased. So to create the benchmark data or to generate the data, you might need to create the synthetic programs. A synthetic job is a program written to exercise the computer's resource in a way that allows the analyzer to imitate the expected job stream and determine the results. So synthetic job is nothing like a imitating program which imitates the or which exercise a computer's resource in a way that allows the analysis to imitate the expected jobs stream and determine the results. Then the artificial job stream can be adjusted and returned to determine the impact. The process can be repeated as many times as necessary to see which task a comparison set of computer handles well and which they do not handle as well. So by doing this synthetic job scenario, you can understand what type of working can be handled by that type the required set of computers, and what type of process or what type of job cannot be handled by the required set of computers. The synthetic job can be adjusted to produce the same type of activity as actual programs, including perhaps random access of files, sequential searching of files with varying size records, and input-output activities, and file accessing in varying random patterns. So to create the synthetic environment or to create the synthetic jobs, you might adjust different type of parameter, like you can include some random accessing of file event. You can measure how that environment will react upon random accessing of different type of file. Or suppose you are searching some file sequentially, then how the system is that synthetic job is responding, or how the synthetic job is responding even when you are varying the size of records or inputs or output activities. So having that knowledge from synthetic job or synthetic program, you can understand what type of hardware or software you might require. So after having the data, creating that synthetic program or synthetic job, having the data generated from the synthetic job, you now need to compare the datas like benchmark datas. Although some comparisons on the basis of equipment performance is better than no comparison at all, there are drawbacks to use of benchmark. First of all, the comparisons are made on purely quantitative grounds. So they do not relate the learning time needed to become accustomed to the system or quality of the system software, such as the quality of the diagnostics produced during compilations or the efficiency of the object code produced. So here what it is saying is that they do not relate the learning time, means to understand or to compare the benchmarks, you do not need to understand how the system is working or how much we need to accustom with the system, or the quality of the system software. We just need to differentiate the quantitative values getting from the benchmark data. By having that comparison only, we can provide, or we can decide what type of software or system we might require or we might go for purchase. In addition, benchmarks do not provide reasonable assurance that programs currently being used on an existing system can be converted to a new system, or that the new machine will run them efficiently even if they are converted. So in addition, benchmark do not provide reasonable assurance. So benchmark data is just only provides the quantitative values for different type of scenarios, but it does not provide a reasonable assurance that programs currently being used on an existing system can be converted to a new system, or the new machine will run them efficiently even if they are converted, because you are doing the things in a synthetic environment, not in the actual environment or in the actual machine. But that is why there might not be actual relation between the working environment and the synthetic environment. That is what it is saying, that benchmark do not provide reasonable assurance that programs currently being used on an existing system and which can be converted to a new system, or that the new system will run them efficiently even if they are converted. And vendors may also make sales claims that a specific system can handle additional tasks that the other system cannot, by having that, or by having the knowledge of the benchmark datasets. So they can manipulate your idea. Since benchmarks cannot directly verify these claims, the purchaser may insist that statements of certain sales claims be attached in writing to the sales contract. So another agreement level talking need to be done in case of if we are going for the benchmark data to purchase the systems and hardwares, because sometimes vendor might manipulate you. So you might need some writing or from the salesman that the system will work good or bad in what situations. Another one is that plug, or you can say compatible equipment. For reason of cost, analysts frequently consider using equipment for a particular make of computer that is not manufactured by a computer vendor. Such components are called plug compatible equipment. Some companies specialize in manufacturing system components such as printers, disk drivers, or memory units that can be connected to a vendor system in place of the same equipment manufactured by the vendor. The central processing unit does not care or know that the equipment is not the same make. Obviously, that type of idea can be also applied in case of hardware and system requirements. Means suppose you are buying a HP desktop or HP CPU, then you might assemble with different parts or different printers having different brand, or disk drives having different brand, because in that way also you can work it out. That is plug compatible and equipment. So many companies build these types of equipment. So in that way you can assemble the system to work in your favor, because obviously the CPU or central processing unit does not care about or know that the equipment is not the same, not from the same brand. The benefit of plug compatible equipment is the lower cost of an item compared with one produced by major computer vendor. So you can get a lots of discount in case of you go for plug compatible equipment, because if you go for buying a actual equipment from the actual or major computer vendor, it will cost more, rather than you can go for a plug compatible equipment which is made by different maker, and that make the price of that equipment by that maker is lesser than the major computer vendor. That is why you can go for that plug compatible equipment. But also in that scenario also you need to know that that hardware or that system or the software will be work properly, and will give you much more benefit than actual equipment or actual vendor equipment, because firms specializing in specific components can develop manufacturing expertise or are likely to have smaller investment in research and development. They are duplicating components developed by another firm. They are able to offer the same product at the lower cost. So another factor or another thinking or another dimension of this process is that financial factor. The acquisition of an payment for a computer systems are usually handled through one of three common methods: rental, lease, or purchase. So you might go for any one of them. Determining which option is appropriate depends on the characteristics and plans of the organization and for the development cost of your project at the time of acquisition is made. No one option is always better than the other. So whatever is suitable for your system or for development of your system, you can go for it. So that is depends upon the financial factor of your organizations. So in case of selecting the vendor also, this step determines the winner among the list of vendors variables. The vendor with the base combinations or reputation, reliability, service record, training delivery time, lease, finance terms, and conversation schedule is selected. Initially, a decision is made as to which vendor to contact. The sources available to check on vendors include like users, software houses, trade associations, universities, publications, vendor software list, vendor referral directories, published directories, consultants, industry contacts, vendor annual financial statement. After this data is gathered about a vendor, it is matched with the selection criteria. Few of the selected vendors are invited to give presentation of their system. The system chosen goes through contract negotiation before implementation. So this type of decision making points can be laid out into before selecting a actual vendor, or you can, if some two or more vendors are having the same values, then values above the criteria, above the selection criteria, you may ask them to present about your system before buying the actual system. In case of software selection also is a critical aspect of system development. The search starts with the software followed by the hardware. There are two ways of acquiring software: custom made or off the shelf package. Today's trend is towards purchasing packages, which represent roughly 10% of what it costs to develop the same in-house. In addition to reduced costs, there are other advantages. A good package can get the system running in a matter of days rather than the weeks or months required for homegrown packages. MIS personnel are released for other projects. So you can release the MIS personnel for other projects also if you go for purchasing the software packages rather than creating a homegrown package. Packages are generally reliable and performed according to stated documentation. Minimum risks are usually associated with the large scale system and programming efforts. Delay in completing software products in-house often occur because programmers quite in midstream. It is difficult to predict the cost of homegrown software. So the user has a sense of seeing how well the package performs before purchasing it. So there are drawbacks, however, to software package. So in that scenario also, if you go for software package buying, then there are also some drawbacks, like the package may not meet user requirements adequately. The extensive modification of a package usually result in the loss of vendor support. The methodology for package evaluation and selection is often poorly defined. The result is a haphazard review based on faulty process or questionable selection criteria. That can be also happen. For first time software package users, the overall expectation from package is often unclear and ill-defined. So some criteria for software selections are like this. Prior to selecting the software, the project team must set up criteria for selection. Selection criteria fall into the categories described here: the reliability point of view, functionality point of view, capacity point of view, flexibility, usability, security, performance, serviceability, ownership, minimal cost. These type of criteria can be layout for selecting a software. So these are the important things need to be understand while purchasing or selecting hardware and software to develop your own information system for your organizations. So try to go through these slides. It's just a theory type of thing. If you have any doubt and confusion, or if you want to add something more, please let me know. If that's all in this video. We'll try to go for more topics in this fourth module. Thank you.